Hello there, it's Carrie Rhoades here. Welcome back to the ScrapbookPal YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be playing with some cute new stamps and dies from Avery Elle. It's the Char-cute-rie stamp and coordinating die set. You can see what these make. This very trendy board with meats and cheese and crackers or sweets on them. They have a heart-shaped board and a traditional style wooden board with a handle, and you add the wood grain with the stamp sets, and there's so many fun die cut things to go on the boards. And one of them is a slice of cheese with holes in it, which is what inspired me to create the background for my first card. So we're going to make a cheesy card first. I am cutting out some irregular rounded shapes to create a slice of cheese background, and I'm cutting them out from masking paper so I can stick them right down, and that's going to allow me to ink blend over the top of this and then peel off those circular pieces, and it will reveal a white shape. So it's very easy to do. This is a quick background. I've arranged all that I wanted on there, and then I am going to use distressed Oxide ink in Fossilized Amber and this ink blending sponge and just cover the whole thing with ink. Now the ink coverage doesn't have to be exactly perfect like a sheet of cardstock. It's okay with me if it has some variations. And also I am going to do a little bit of splatter with a distress sprayer full of water, and I'm just going to spritz this on. Now you wouldn't have to do this step. I just really like splatter on mine, and I wanted to give this like maybe a little bit of an aged cheese look. And then you want to let your masking paper dry before you peel it off. I thought mine was dry, but it wasn't, and so you'll see why you want to wait until it's dry right here. It leaves a little bit of the sticky residue behind. I thought some of the color had stained the paper where it was still wet, but once I decided to add just a touch of that yellow over those openings, they were just too stark white for me, I realized that that would rub off. So I just rubbed it off, and I wish I would have done that before the ink blending, but we're going to put a lot of stuff on this card, and it's actually going to cover up some of those areas that aren't my favorite. But to give this an even more cheesy feel, I'm going to go around the edge and cut out some notches and give it more of a cheesy look. Now again, this was inspired by the tiny little die that cuts out a slice of cheese. I decided to make my background just a bigger kind of version of that. So there it is. So we're going to set that aside and work on all the things that go on top of the background. So first we're going to start out with the board itself. So I am going to add a little anti-static powder on a brown piece of cardstock, ink up my stamp with VersaMark ink, which is a clear, thicker embossing ink. It's going to stay wetter longer, which allows us to pour embossing powder over the top, and then we'll heat set that. So there's the stamped image. You can see it. It's just kind of a tone-on-tone color. It's because it's clear. And then I'm going to pour over the top also clear embossing powder. Then I will go ahead and melt that powder with my heat tool, and that powder melts and gets raised up and shiny, and it's just the perfect look. Now we're going to cover so much of this with the die cut things, so I don't feel like it's necessary to really color this out with Copic markers and make it look all ink blended, but you totally could. So I just thought I would do this because I'm going to put a lot of stuff on there, and one of them is this cracker. Isn't it cute? The little cracker. I love it. And then we have some brie-like cheese. And then here's our holy cheese, Swiss, cheddar, whatever. You know it's cheese, even though it's not the Swiss color. And I'm going to add a few little olives. Now there's plenty more things on here that you could use. Some pickles, some peanuts. There's like a toothpick. I didn't use a lot of the things. And then all the sweet things I'm going to do on my next card, because I am doing 2 cards for you today. And to fill in those little olives, I use some red glitter Stickles. Now I'm going to use a lot of these kind of squeezable application things in today's card. So I'm going to link all of those for you below, because there's lots of fun things like that in the ScrapbookPal shop. All right, so now we're going to put all the things together. I did decide to add a little twine to the top of my board so it could be something that would hang on the wall just for another little bit of interest, and I think it looks fabulous. So I popped that up onto my background, which was added to my A2 size card base. And now I'm going to do the sentiment. There's a lot of, punny sentiments in this set. And this one says, "This is the cheesiest card I could make." I am going to leave the inside blank because I don't know. I feel like I'll probably use it for a birthday card, and I'm not sure, so I can later go back and add a sentiment on the inside of the card. So I'm embossing this time with white powder on this dark green ink or cardstock, the same cardstock that I used for the olive. So it's going to tie in that color one more time. And then I'm going to pop this up, but only partially because part of it is going to be on top of my charcuterie board. And so I only need a little strip of that adhesive there. And so I just kind of lay it on there, figure out exactly where I want it, and I trim off what I don't need. Before I stick that down, I wanted to stamp some hearts on here. There's several open and solid hearts in the stamp set, and so I'm going to use the largest heart that's open and stamp that randomly on the background. And then I'm also going to add some glitter glue to that. But first I'll go ahead and put my saying down, because once I do the glitter glue, I don't want to touch this for a while until that glitter's dry, so I don't smear it. And I actually did end up smearing a little bit, but that's life. All right, so now I'll add that in. Now this is going to shrink back a little bit when it dries. So even though it might look like I've mostly filled up these hearts, you will see a little bit of an edge around there. So if you don't want to see that edge, make sure you really overfill it a little bit. All right, once that was dry, then I'm bringing in a few more things just to add a little something to the bottom corner of this. A cracker, a slice of that, it's like a softer cheese, and then another olive. And I'm going to put that popped up in that lower right corner so it overlaps my sentiment a little bit. And of course we have to get the little red part in the olive, and that finishes up the card. I did have a few more slices of cheese I added to the inside to finish it off, and I think this card is so much fun. I love that sentiment. It just makes the card. All right, so that's my first card with all the cheese things, and next we're going to move on and make like a kind of a love themed card. I am using this heart stencil from Fawn, and it's 2 layers. So I'm going to do 1 layer, and then I'm going to have to let it dry and then come back and add the second layer. So I am inking up my pink cardstock with Kitsch Flamingo ink in Distress Oxide. This is just like a shade darker than what I have. And then over the top of that, I'm going to add my Moon Dust Stickles. Isn't this amazing? What I love about this is like my favorite, I call it spread. Anything you can spread on your card with the spatula, I call it a spread. But it has large chunks and small chunks of glitter, and the base is shiny. So I love this. This is like the only paste, one of the only pastes I have bought duplicates of. Like I ran out, I used it all and had to buy a new one. Like before it dried out. I love that paste. It's so like unicorn-like to me. Okay, next we're doing the other board, which is the heart shape. We're embossing it first, again with clear ink and clear powder, heat setting that, and then die cutting it out with the coordinating die. And I know you could use this heart for so many different things besides a charcuterie board. So have fun with that wood grain heart, right? Okay, there it is. Super duper cute. Now, this is the thing I was most excited. So I did at first a strawberry, but there's also a little die cut bit to make it look like it's dipped in chocolate. Yes, this is one of my kiddos' favorite treats ever, is chocolate covered strawberries. And so I just had to make a bunch of these. Well, 3, because they're small. My board is small, but I wanted to put a lot of sweets on my board. So there it is. So cute. I'll end up doing 3 of those. And I wanted to do some more Nouveau jewel drops. So this is going to dry translucent. It is a brownish color. And I only did 1, so I could kind of see what it was going to look like before I did the other 3, and I did end up loving it. Now this piece right here makes a piece of salami. Like you would cut the solid piece from white and the piece with the holes in it from red, layer them up, and you've got like a little piece of meat to go on your cracker. But I also thought it could be a chocolate chunk cookie. So that's what I did. I'm going to die cut the background from the chocolate part of the cookie, and then the upper part with the holes I'll do from my kind of cookie color, and I did 3 of those as well. Next there is a cherry. The tiniest little die in the set is the stem to the cherry, and it looks just like that. I only did 1 of these. I wanted that just like an accent piece. And then there's a pretzel with chocolate for the top of it as well. So you just glue that right on. I'll do 3 of those as well. And then this, I would say, is like a sugar cookie or a frosted cookie. So I did a really kind of vanilla cardstock, a really light vanilla with pink icing. And then this one, I'm going to say is another cookie, almost like I would like think of an Elle fudge cookie, you know, like it's kind of like a shortbread cookie with chocolate drizzled on it, but could it also be a pastry? Yes. All right, now I have some pixie dust glitter I am adding to just my sugar cookie and my pretzels. I decided I didn't want it on the strawberries, so just keep it a little different. All right, well, all of those things dry, I'm going to add the second layer of my stenciling to my background, and then that's also going to have to dry. So yeah, a lot of drying time, but it's so worth it. I love sparkle. I love glitter. I love making my own background. So I'm used to this. Go away, you know, do some laundry or something and then come back. All right, so now I am kind of just laying out everything on the little board, seeing where I want it to go. And I like to do this before I just start gluing, because then I have an idea of how it's all going to fit together. Will I need more pieces, less pieces? I actually ended up using less pieces. You can see I have 1 sugar cookie off to the side there, and my cherry I did not get on there. So there's everything stuck down. I'm going to pop this up onto my card background, and then I'm going to have a couple pieces off to the side like I did on my cheesy card. And for the cherry, I'm adding some Nouveau drops that are not translucent. It's more, has like a little bit of a metallic shine to it. And that reminds me of those candies that's like a cherry center or a blueberry center dipped in colored chocolate. I don't know if you've had those, but that's what the look I was going for. Okay, I die cut out the words love ya with an alphabet die set. I die cut it from red cardstock and red fun foam. I'm going to layer those up so they can be popped up onto my card base, which is pretty textured. So I thought the fun foam would help me be able to stick it on there without it looking bumpy, because the bumpiness is going to go into the fun foam and not the cardstock. That's my theory. And this card's going to say, no one is char-cuter than you. All right, so let's put all the things together on my A2 size card base, and it's going to have a white border all the way around that background, which I love. I love a white border. And then we'll go ahead and glue all the things down with Bearly Art Glue. It is my favorite liquid glue, and it just holds really well. It dries with a matte finish, and it is not tacky. Right? Once it's dry, it won't leave a tacky spot. All right, so now just the word love, and then I need to kind of figure out how I'm going to arrange the other parts. So I'm going to hold my little sentiment there, figure out where the Y is going to go so I can kind of line it up, you know, lay things out before sticking everything down, right? All right, so I figured that out. The sentiment I left intentionally long on one side so I could cut it off so that it's flush with the edge of the card. And then I'll glue all the letters to finish off the saying in place. So love ya, no one's char-cuter than you. And again, I'm going to leave the inside empty, well, as far as the sentiment goes, because you could make this a Valentine's Day card, anniversary card, like, you know, anything, birthday. I really like that about this card. Miss you. It's just a fun card, right? To cheer somebody up, give them a nice smile. So I thought I would stamp that wood grain heart on the inside using that Kitsch Flamingo. This is a nice light color. You could easily write over it or stamp your sentiment on the inside over the top of that as well. And I added a second cherry there, so I had a little cluster of 3 fun things in the corner to finish off that card. And here's the 2 side by side. I think this set is so versatile. I did all of my things from colored cardstock, but it would be really fun to add some shadowing with your Copic markers or a little bit of a sponge with ink on it. But this is just like the quick and fast way to do it, but you know, still having lots of fun. So thank you for stopping by. You can find all the things I used linked for you in the description box below, and I will see you on the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.